So we are in strategic final level case study. So today we also within the Module-01 financial information analysis, and within financial information analysis, then within the case study we have short analysis, economic value added (EVA), Porter's 5 force model, best analysis, a smart goal, business valuation, etc. Different types of item within the case study. Pest analysis, pest political factors, economic factors, social factors, and technological factors. This is the pest analysis, and here is the what is political factor. Political factor means government policy, political stability, corruption, foreign trade policy, tax policy, labor law, trade restriction. For example, if you want to establish a business in a country, for example, another country, if their tax rate is low, then you will very much happy. Analysis, we can say political, government, etc., and environmental, economical, and we have seen here social factors. There are a lot of things: population growth, age restriction, the career attitude, and then technology and technology-based industry, like automation, etc. That type of force here. Pest analysis. That how pest analysis work. A pest analysis is a framework of tool used to markets and analyze and monitor the macro environment, external market environment factors that have an impact on an organization. So that type of factor, how affect with the organization, the result of which use identified threat and weakness, which also is the part of short analysis. So here we have seen pest analysis. Here if you see the social factor here, look here, political factor we have seen. Political is also government factor, tax policy of the country, stability of the government, and government expenditure level, foreign trade regulation, and interest, that means banking system, etc. also a part of that. Economic factor, social factor, technological factor, environmental factor, legal factor, etc. So here's the best item. And now if we see a SMART or goal, that means SMART means a specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. It's mean SMART. SMART mean এটা স্পেসিফিক হতে হবে, আমি যেটাই করি, যেটাই সিদ্ধান্ত নেই, it should be specific, it should be measurable, কাউন্টেবল, মেজার করা যাবে, অ্যাটেইনেবল, এটা সম্ভব হবে। এখন যদি আমি বলি যে চাঁদের 1 কাঠা জমি আপনি বিক্রি করবেন, আপনার থেকে আমি কিনবো, সেটা কিন্তু অ্যাটেইনেবল না, এটা করা সম্ভব না, কখনোই হবে না। দেন হলো রিলেভেন্ট, এটা সম্পৃক্ত হতে হবে, এবং টাইম বাউন্ড, the specific period of time. So the SMART, that means that goal is specific, that is significant, strength, etc. So here is describing everything. Specific means state exactly what you want to accomplish, who will do it, what will do it, where will do it, and why will do it is a specific. Measurable, how will you demonstrate and evaluate the extent which the goal has been met. That way, if we do that, what will happen? That would be measurable. Achievable, strength and challenge, challenging the goal with an ability to achieve outcome. What is the action-oriented part? Then holo, that means here what is action-oriented? That means achievable. এটা করতেই হবে, এটা করা যাবে, করতে হবে. Relevant, how does the goal tie in the key responsibility, how it is aligned with the objective. For example, the reliability, that means if you think that you are your garments business and now you want start another business. For example, আপনি প্লেনের বা ইয়ার ব্যবসা শুরু করলেন, অন্য একটা ব্যবসা শুরু করলেন যেটা আপনার এটার সাথে রিলেভেন্ট না, তার ফলে ওইখানে কিন্তু আপনার ভুল ভ্রান্তি হতে পারে, কারণ ওইটাতে পরীক্ষিত না, তখন কিন্তু ওইখানে আপনি কিন্তু ডুববেন। এবং এইগুলো দেখেন আমাদের প্রোডাক্ট যে আমাদের ফিল্ম এরিয়া দেখেন, এখন কিন্তু কেউ ছবি ওই যে ক্যামেরাও কিনে না, ইয়ে করে না, এক মোবাইলেই সব, এক মোবাইলের ভিতরে সব, পুরো কম্পিউটার হলো মোবাইলের ভিতরে। এই যে আস্তে আস্তে যে টেকনোলজিকে যদি অ্যাকসেপ্ট করে না নেওয়া হয় এবং নতুন নতুন চিন্তা যদি না ঢোকা হয়, মার্কেটে থাকা যাবে না। এবং এই যে রিলেভেন্ট হতে হবে, যেটা আমরা বললাম, এখানে বলতেছে হাউ ডাজ দ্য গোল is tie into key responsibilities, how it is aligned with the objectives, যে অর্গানাইজেশনের যে অবজেক্টিভ আছে তার সাথে কতটুকু মানে কতটুকু তার রিলেভেন্ট, কতটুকু বলে ওইটার সাথে অ্যালাইন করে চলতে পারে। টাইম বাউন্ড, set one or more target date by when, that means what we have to do based on the target, based on the time, we have to finish within that time. So this is the time bound. And so this is the smart, we also a specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. And if we see some valuation, so what is valuation? We know the business valuation, other valuation, share valuation, different types of valuation we require in different ways. The business valuation is the process by which the economic growth of a company is determined. So here different types of when valuation required. So also within the case study, sometimes the types of question also valuation, business valuation, also sometimes merger acquisition, and as if company X want to purchase or acquire company Y, so how much exchange rate would be? That means through the share, through the cash, different types of item can be happen. So here when, that means why would we need a business valuation? When we, that means there are handful of common reason for business valuation. When looking to sell the business, that time you need to value the business. When looking to merge or acquire another company, then we have to value the organization. When looking for business financing or investors, then you have to business value. For example, if you go for a bank for loan purpose and other thing, sometimes banks are giving loan through the collateral, and sometimes some corporate guarantee also. So what is corporate guarantee? Corporate guarantee is that your all from your company's organization's equity and the owner of the shareholder minus all liability, that how much money you have, and that amount 80% you can be give corporate guarantee. So it is also the flotation charge through the and also that type of reporting also CIB also central bank. So that type need the for investing purpose, for taking loan from the that means investor, that time need the valuation of the organization. When establishing partner ownership percentage, that need the valuation. And when adding shareholder, for example, a private company, husband, wife, son, daughter, 4 are the shareholder. And from 5 or 6 years ago established the company and running on. At this moment, if add another person as a shareholder, so that value have to calculate. Previously, when your share value is at 100 taka, but now this is not the 100 taka, because you have the economic value add within the organization. Your wealth can increase. So have to determine new valuation, and through the new valuation divided by number of share, then each and every share can be your recalculate, and from 100 to it can be 500. So what would be happen? Your with that 500, 400, it is your share premium, but share value 100 taka. But if that means if you give any investor come your organization or your business, and if you determine 500 taka per share, 100 taka face value, but he or she have to pay 500 taka each and every share of that company. That 400 is your share premium. So
premium.
Yeah. So then we need the valuation. And when adding shareholder for এখানে বলছে ডিভোর্স প্রসেসিং মানে কি যখন কোনো শেয়ার হোল্ডারকে আপনি বাদ দিয়ে দিবেন, কোনো শেয়ার হোল্ডার যদি চলে যেতে চায়, একটা পার্টনারশিপ ফর্ম করছেন বা প্রাইভেট করছে, সে চলে যেতে চাইতেছে তার শেয়ার নিয়ে, and we know private company cannot offer share. You know that the company private company, what is private company? Private company 2 and less than 50 shareholder is the private company, and what is public company? 7 and up to the number of share they have, যত হয় 50 এর উপরে 100 এটা 500, যেমন certain tax purpose সেটা ভ্যালুয়েশন করা হয় কি বুঝছেন। So business valuation method we have seen business valuation method. There are asset based valuation, income based, sometimes comparable, and asset based is book value method, adjusted net asset method, replacement method, and liquidation method. তো
ভ্যালুয়েশন নিয়ে স্যার একটা কোশ্চেন স্যার, ভ্যালুয়েশনটা আসলে এটা ভ্যালুয়েশনটা ঠিকমতো হচ্ছে কিনা এটা আসলে দেখভাল করার কোনো অথরিটি বাংলাদেশে কি আছে স্যার?
না এখানে নাই।
ভ্যালুয়েটি যে যেমনি খুশি করে নাকি
করে, কিন্তু ওটা মেথড আছে, মেথড গুলাকে অ্যাপ্লাই করে। যেমন মনে করেন সিকিউরিটি এক্সচেঞ্জ কমিশন যখন আপনি যে নতুন একটা কোম্পানি যখন আইপিও তে আসবে তার শেয়ার ভ্যালুয়েশন কিভাবে করে, হ্যাঁ আপনারা যদি দেখেন যে একটা প্রসপেক্টাস যদি দেখেন, আপনারা হয়তো দেখার সুযোগ দেখেন নাই, প্রসপেক্টাসে কিন্তু আছে যে কোন কোন মেথড ফলো করছে। ওইখানে নরমালি 3-4টা মেথড ফলো করে পরে এভারেজ করে ফেলে, তাহলে কোনো গ্যাপ থাকে না যে আপনি বিভিন্ন ভিত্তিতে এটা হিসাব করা হয়। এই যে অ্যাসেট বেস করবে, ইনকাম বেস করবে, তারপরে তার মার্কেটের অনুযায়ী বেস করবে, বিভিন্ন রকম হিসাব করে, তার সমজাতীয় ইন্ডাস্ট্রিতে কি আছে বিভিন্ন হিসাব করে তারপর এটা এভারেজ করা হয়। আপনারা যদি কখনো দেখেন ওইখানে কিন্তু এটা লেখা থাকে, এটা দেখেন কখন একটা প্রসপেক্টাস হলে। আর
যেমন ওই যে আমরা যখন এই লিস্টেড কোম্পানির ব্যালেন্স শিট দেখি,
জি জি,
তখন ওখানে রিভ্যালুয়েশন রিজার্ভ নামে একটা জায়গায় অনেক টাকা দেওয়া থাকে,
এটাকে রিভ্যালুয়েট করছে। এগুলো এখন আস্তে আস্তে সবগুলি আসবে, কারা দেখবে? আমাদের এফআরসি দেখবে, বুঝছেন, ফিনান্সিয়াল রিপোর্টিং কাউন্সিল এটার উপরে কাজ করতেছে, সামনে দেখবেন এগুলারও স্ট্যান্ডার্ড বের হবে, এটার উপরে কাজ হচ্ছে। তো অ্যাসেট বেসড ভ্যালুয়েশন কিভাবে হয়? As the asset based valuation method consider business total net asset value minus the value of total liability according to the balance sheet অনুযায়ী আমরা করি net asset value this way: value of asset minus value of liability divided by total shareholder outstanding. The net asset value per share, net asset value per share calculate. That's why it's also a price sensitive information for listed company. There are two main way to approach asset based business valuation. One is going concern approach, another liquidation value approach. So business that plan to continue to operation and not immediately sell asset should be the going concern approach. গোয়িং কনসার্ন মানে এটা ধরে নেওয়া হয় যে এটা আজীবন চলতে থাকবে, কারণ বিজনেসে হ্যাভ দ্য সেপারেট এন্টিটি। অ্যাসেট বেসড বিজনেস ভ্যালুয়েশন, দিস ফর্মুলা টেকস ইনটু অ্যাকাউন্ট ফর বিজনেস কারেন্ট টোটাল ইকুইটি মাইনাস ইট নেট ওয়ার্ডস অ্যাসেট মাইনাস লাইবিলিটি। And liquidation base, a liquidation value asset based approach to valuation is based on the assumption that the business is finished, that is asset will be liquidated. So there are different way. So here asset based valuation is one problem here. Look here, the summary of a statement of financial position of a company, non-current asset, here land, plant, motor vehicle, and goodwill 20,000. This is the, and so non-current asset is $260,000, goodwill 20,000, current asset inventory, receivable, short term and cash total 1,60,000. So here 4,40,000 is total asset. Same way 4,40,000 is total liability and owner's equity. So here equity and liability here, ordinary share, owner's equity here, equity, ordinary share per dollar, so 80, reserve 140, preferential. So look here, this reserve is the real owner is equity holder. So this is the This 1,40,000 is real owner is ordinary shareholder. He is the real owner of the organization. And preference share, look here, though is a share, but 4.5%, 9%. So it's also nature of debt. Have to pay the dividend of 4.9%. So here 50,000, total 2,07,000. And non-current asset, 12% loan note, 60, deferred taxation, total 70. Current liability payable, taxation, tax payable, current year, proposed ordinary dividend, etc. Here, current liability. So total, this is that. What is the value of the ordinary share using the net asset base on valuation? So is the requirement. What is the value of an ordinary share using the net asset basis of valuation? So if we see here, if the figure given the asset base not question, the value would as the follows. Look here, total value of asset less current liability. So here, total value of asset, here total asset is total
4,40,000
হ্যাঁ 4,40,000 এর ভিতরে আপনার বাদ দিতে হবে কিছু এখানে 3,40,000 আসছে এখন 3,40,000 কেমনে আসলো হ্যাঁ 3,40,000 কিভাবে আসলো হ্যাঁ এখানে আমাদের কারেন্ট লাইবিলিটি আছে তো লাইবিলিটি এই যে 1 লাখ
1 লাখ স্যার
এই কারেন্ট লাইবিলিটি 4,40,000 থেকে 1 লাখ বাদ দিয়ে হলো 3,40,000 এটা তো ঠিক আছে
শেয়ার হ্যাঁ আউটস্ট্যান্ডিং শেয়ার হোল্ডার কত স্যার এটা
আউটার ওই যে $1 করলে আপনি ভাগ দিলেন তার মানে 80,000
হ্যাঁ জি স্যার
$1 তো একটা
এখন তো হ্যাঁ জি স্যার তো এখন কথা হলো রিজার্ভটা who belongs the reserve sir normally equity shareholder belongs the reserve
তো এখানে তো আপনার শেয়ার তো ওই ইকুইটি হোল্ডার এই 80,000 কারা এরাই তো ইকুইটি হোল্ডার এখানে তো অন্য কারো কি আসবে না তো এইটা রিজার্ভ তো এটার ভিতরে ইয়া থাকবে এখন ঘটনা হলো যে আপনি দেখেন আমার যেহেতু অ্যাকাউন্টিং ইকুয়েশন অনুযায়ী টোটাল অ্যাসেট ইকুয়াল টু লায়াবিলিটি এন্ড ওনার্স ইকুইটি তো আলটিমেট কিন্তু আপনি যেভাবেই করেন আপনার কিন্তু ব্যালেন্সে আসতেছে এইটার ভিতরেই ওইটার ভিতরে যুক্ত আছে আপনি যদি অন্যভাবে চিন্তা করেন তখন দেখবেন এইটার ভিতরে ওই যে ইয়াটা আপনি যেটা বলতেছেন যে এটা 1,40,000 কোথায় আছে ওইটা কিন্তু এটার ভিতরে যুক্ত আছে কারণ আমরা জানি টোটাল অ্যাসেট ইকুয়াল টু আমরা যে অ্যাকাউন্টিং ইকুয়েশনে আমরা দেখছি টোটাল অ্যাসেট ইকুয়াল টু টোটাল লায়াবিলিটি প্লাস ওনার্স ইকুইটি তা আলটিমেট কিন্তু ওই টাকা এটার ভিতরে যুক্ত আছে এখন এখান থেকে যেটা আর্টিফিশিয়াল আইটেম ইনটেনজিবল অ্যাসেট যেটা গুডউইল সেটা মাইনাস কারণ এটা হলো ভ্যালু নাই তারপরে হলো টোটাল ভ্যালু অফ অ্যাসেট লেস কারেন্ট লায়াবিলিটি হচ্ছে 3,20,000 এর থেকে আপনি মাইনাস করতে হবে কি করতে হবে প্রেফারেন্স শেয়ারের এই যে আছে প্রেফারেন্স শেয়ার 50,000 এটা মাইনাস করতে
জি স্যার
জি মাইনাস
এটা অগ্রাধিকার আগে সবার আগে প্রেফারেন্স শেয়ার হোল্ডারদের নাম মিটআপ করা
এটা তো ওর তো ডিভিডেন্ড আগে এখানে এটা তো একটা লায়াবিলিটি এখান থেকে এই জন্য মাইনাস দিয়া আপনি টোটাল অ্যাসেট বাইর করতেছেন যার মালিক হচ্ছে ইকুইটি হোল্ডার এবং সেটাকে নাম্বার অফ শেয়ার দিয়ে ভাগ তাহলে কি হলো প্রেফারেন্স হলো এটা তো লায়াবিলিটি মত
লায়াবিলিটি স্যার
শেয়ার হলেও লায়াবিলিটি অতএব এটা হচ্ছে
জি স্যার
হ্যাঁ আর হচ্ছে লোন এই যে লোন নিছে আপনি কত লোন নোট নিছে কোথায় গেল না লোন আছে একটা এই যে
আছে স্যার
এই যে লোন নিছে 12% ইন্টারেস্ট 60,000 লোন নিছে এই লোনটাও দায় এই দায়টা মাইনাস করতে হবে 60,000 and also one item is deferred tax as within balance sheet so after deducting that we will get net asset value of equity that means 2 lakh so number of share here we have received number of share is 80,000 because per share value is $1 so 80,000 number of share if we divide number of share through 2 lakh net asset value of equity divided by number of share 80,000 then we will get value per share is $2.50 though its face value is $1 look here is the $1 but when we calculate it is that's a valuation then per share value is $2.50 so another one is valuation market value valuation method based on market value so here the market value business valuation formula and perhaps the most subjective approach to measuring a business worth is saying that market valuation based on market value. This method determines the value of the business by comparing to its similar business that they have sold. So here if you see that if your quoted company, that means listed company, you can easily calculate the value of the organization. For example, at this moment, based on market value, at this moment, if the share selling in taka 20 per share, 10 taka share per 20, and 20 multiplied by number of share, that means number of share outstanding, and that means listed. So outstanding. So that's we can easily calculate the values through the listed company. Same way, the private company, how we will determine. So if no that type of that means similar companies, সমজাতীয় কোম্পানি, আমরা তখন ওইভাবে আমরা হিসাব করে নেওয়া হয় যে ভ্যালুয়েশন। যদিও এটা কিন্তু এই ভ্যালু ফেয়ার ভ্যালু মেজারমেন্টের জন্য ইন্টারন্যাশনাল অ্যাকাউন্টিং স্ট্যান্ডার্ড 13 আছে, IFRS 13 ভ্যালুয়েশনের জন্য, ওখানে ফেয়ার ভ্যালু মেজারমেন্ট করার জন্য IFRS 13 আছে, ওখানে অনেক কিছু নিয়ম কানুন আছে, অনেকগুলো ধাপ আছে, আপনারা সুযোগ থাকলে দেখেন। দ্যাটস ওয়াই অ্যানাদার হ্যাভ একটা ওয়েবসাইট আছে সিলভিয়ার, আগে নাম ছিল IFRS বক্স, এখন সম্ভবত IFRS CPD না কি জানি নাম। তো সিলভিয়ার নাম দিয়ে দেখলে ওখানে ওর ভিডিওতে এই জিনিসগুলা সুন্দর করে করা আছে, এগুলা ফাঁকে ফাঁকে দেখেন, দেখলে জিনিসগুলো কনসেপ্ট গুলো পরিষ্কার হবে কিভাবে ভ্যালুয়েশন করে IFRS এর অনুযায়ী, স্ট্যান্ডার্ড অনুযায়ী। সো হিয়ার মার্কেট valuation from the following information, the three grocery stores, that means FY Limited, FY Food, three company, FY Limited, FY Food Limited, and FY Corporation Limited. Compute the market value of the business. So here, look here, company, three company, FY Limited, P ratio 10.8. P means price earning ratio. FY Food Limited 9.9% P ratio. FY Corporation Limited 10%. The sum total of the post-tax earning of the above mentioned companies are 10 lakh. So three companies post-tax earnings, that means earnings after tax, 10 lakh. So what would be the value? Look here, FY Limited, 3P Food Corporation. So here average P ratio is 10.23. Just adding 3P divided by 3, then we will get average P ratio. So since post-tax earnings or price earning after tax, the above mentioned company's total 10 lakh. Its market value would be estimated 10 lakh multiplied by 10.23 times. That means, look here, 1,230,000. So market value of three companies is here this one. And you can segregate in 3 items also. So here, based on the ratio, here no share is not mentioning here. So here, total value of three market value is 1,230,000 based on market value, because P ratio is come from the market value. Another P ratio method, if I wish to make a taken over share of unquoted company, we know what is unquoted company. The company not listed with the stock exchange, you cannot quote for buying or selling the share, is the unquoted. So M3, the earnings of M3 over past 5 years, that its earning is from 16 to 20, its earning is this way. In the year 2016, 50,000. In the year 20, it was 75,000. The average P ratio of quoted companies in the industry. So look here, at that same industry, quoted price is the which M3 operate that company operate, it is 10. Quoted companies which is similar in many respect of M3, just similar of that company. So BM4, which another company, ratio is 15, but the company was very good growth prospectus. And WM5, which has had a poor profit record and several year and has P ratio 7. So what is our requirement? What would be a suitable range of valuation for the share of M3? This is FYR wish to take M3 another company, but M3 is not quoted, not listed. So M3 5 years financial figure is here, and M3 P ratio is another quoted company just similar is 10. So here item 1 A, B, 2 item. So A, earnings. Average earnings over last 5 years have been so average earning of M3 if we add 5 years earning divided by 5, then we will get average 67,200, and over the last 4 years, that means here 5 years and last 4 years, 1, 2, 3, 4, that means 20, 19, 18, 17, average is 17,500. There might appear to be some growth respect. That means here saying that is some growth because 5 years average and 4 years there's difference. So difference is growth, but estimated future earnings are uncertain. A low estimated earning is 21 would be perhaps 7150 as average calculation for the 5 years or 4 years. A high estimated earnings to be 75 or more is just expecting. This solution would use the most recent earning figure 75 as the highest estimation. It's just expecting that though 4 years average is now 71,500, that it can be 75,000. And P ratio, just for understanding, here 2 item, higher and lower. Look here, P calculated. Higher, that means 75, and lower, that 4 years average 71,500. So is the for 5 years and taking the 7. 5 and 7 is the P ratio. Here look, this 7 and here calculated here. Look here. Perhaps 60% of 70 is the 6 to 7 dosher is 10 here. Look here, this is the 10 as the similar market industry. So here calculated at the comprehensive lower than 50% of 10. So here taking the 5. So this 5 is taking here lower one, and upper one said the 7 P ratio. So multiply that. Is get 5,000, 5,25,000 as 3,57,500. So P ratio is valuation method. Here ROI is ratio is here. Return on equity, profit after tax divided by equity multiplied by 100. This way can be calculated. And we have to understand the following business valuation. So nature and purpose. And how this will be, when valuation required, what information required. And share valuation method we know, asset base, income earnings base, dividend valuation base, discount cash flow base. So here asset base, historical, replacement, releasable. And income earnings base, P ratio, earning yields method. And dividend, no growth and constant growth. No growth, that means zero growth. Valuation of debt, irredeemable, redeemable, and convertible, and valuation of preference share, etc. for the business valuation. If we calculate one value of share, that value and divided by a number of share or multiple with share, then we can get the total value. And here the discounting capitalization earning value method, multiply earning valuation method, book valuation method. So basically we have seen that basically three main approach: asset approach, income approach, market approach. And profit multiplier also we have seen. So here is the all income, economic value, market value. And one thing, how firm value increase, firm, that means organization. So here firm growth and profitability, it means that firm's value. How did it happen? Product market strategy and financial market policy. So product market strategy for the organization, operating management, how operate the management, managing revenue and expense, how revenue increase and how expense minimize, that depend on market. It should be effect for the operating management. And operating investment, managing the working capital and fixed asset. So working capital based on inventory. If we purchase huge inventory and keep it, so your working capital require more working capital. It has the huge cost. So working capital management and fixed asset management also a operating investment activities part. And based on accumulating operating management, operating investment, is come product market strategy. And product market strategy here, if you see the star, is the Professor David M. Chain's structure taken from there. And financial market policy, financial decision, dividend policy, and financial investment. So financial decision, managing the liability and equity, and dividend, managing the purchase and payout ratio, etc. Financial investment, managing that means our investment, our that means phase, that means future value, P&L, etc. All manage financial investment. And this, if we accurately manage the product market and financial market, the organizational growth and profitability will be increased, and value of the firm can be increased. And another way, growth and profitability is also help to firm valuation. So diversification strategy can sometimes taken, sometimes integration strategy, and both can help to increase the value of the firm. So diversification strategy means unrelated investment. Sometimes your one line, but if you add another item, another product, another line, that would be your diversification. So here treated as financial investment. And for example, at this moment you are in a chemical company and you go for example, garments. So it's also diversification. If the business was success, then it will be firm value would be increased. But if fail, then decrease. So here integration strategy, strategic investment, managing subsidiary companies, managing associate, managing joint venture. So at this moment, you know, a lot of companies, they have the different subsidiary company. For example, they have if you have a bank, they have the merchant bank, they have the broker house, they have the asset management company, they have the equity, they have the SME financing, the separate organization on separate subsidiary. So this way can be increase the firm value. And managing associate, managing the joint venture, managing the subsidiary is the strategic investment within the organization. Within the strategic investment and diversification strategy, it helps to grow the firm value. Here some question included here, just answer also here, you just see it. And cost of acquisition here, solution here. Here another one, brand value calculation, how we can calculate a brand value. So here brand value, here calculation, here answer is here. Let's see. CPFA Plus Published Limited has been approached to another publisher which is interested to buy the copyright of the book Financial Reporting. They estimate the value of the copyright. The following assumptions are made. The book is to generate 1,50,000 in after-tax cash flow each year from the next 3 years, 1 lakh, and the subsequent 2 years. There are flow of the payment and author, royalty, promotional expense, and production cost. About 40% of this cash flow are from the large organization that place bulk order and consider the predictable stable. The cost of capital applied of the cash flow 7%. The remaining 60%, here 40%. Here 40%. And another 60%, this 60%, total 100%, cash flow are to the general public, and the segment of the cash flow is considered much more volatile. The cost of capital applied of this cash 10%. So it's the volatile 60%, but 40% more or less fixed, predictable, and the its cost is 7% thing. Based on the information given above, estimate the value of the copyright. So what would be the value of that copyright of that book? That means financial reporting. So here calculated here, look here, the value of the copyright can be estimated this way. 5 years, a stable cash flow, here 60, 60, 60 and 40, 40. So PV factor 7% is come this one. And volatile cash flow, here 5 years, 90, 90, 90, 60, 60. PV 10%. So total come here. The value of the copyright is adding both item come 5,18,000. So it's the copyright value. So this way here another one. Just try to take it. That type of question can come on our one question, only one math, big size, 20, 30 marks or 40 marks in our case study. So this one, and we will later on we will discuss with our different types of case study. So here relationship amount, value of the future income, what is the relation, the value of business. So it depends on what scrap value of tangible asset, forced liquidation value of the tangible asset, originate liquidity tangible asset, value in use of tangible asset, value of identifiable tangible asset, goodwill value, and total value comes business value this way, future income of the business. And purpose of the valuation we also seen in previously here, statutory, industrial, accounting, finance, etc. purpose of it. So here if we see the summary, discounting cash flow, relative value, and contingency claim value, asset value, this way we can be able to calculate the value. So today this way we are calculating here, and next class hour would be the financial information, another part, regulatory framework in Bangladesh, and IFRS regulatory framework, EPS calculation, professional institutions in Bangladesh, FRC, merger and acquisition. That would be our next class topics. So I think today we are going for closing today's class.